How do you feel about making a deal with the devil? Hello, my name is Abigail, and on this channel I talk about books and things that I'm passionate about. And right now that happens to be putting out 31 videos in 31 days. And for this video, demon possession horror. For this video, I selected 3 demon possession horror books. Some of them were a little on the nose, and some of them were a little historical fiction-y. So let's start where this video started. And this video started with this one specific book, Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. Obviously, I wanted to pay homage to the book that started this whole vlog, this whole 31 videos in 31 days, by dressing up like to match the book, I guess, kind of a little bit. Play Nice by Rachel Harrison is a book about a 20-something-year-old whose mother sadly passes away, but her mom was a little crazy, or was she? The way that I have been describing this is less crazy mom, more like Amityville Horror. So Amityville Horror, there was obviously something that was going on, and then they wrote a book about it, but like, did it actually happen? And that's kind of how this book feels to me. It feels like a little bit of a modern take on Amityville, and I'm not sure if that is something that is unique to my experience. Like, did other people feel this way? I'm genuinely not sure if I'm the only one who has made this comparison, because I haven't really looked into what other people thought of this, but it feels a little bit like that, because the mother writes a book, and in the book she details the family's experience, but she's labeled as crazy. The daughters don't remember it. But when Cleo has to go back to her hometown for her mother's funeral, wake, celebration of life, whatever it is, she realizes that her mother has actually left the home that all of this took place in to the 3 daughters. And Cleo is the only one who is actually interested in doing anything with it. She wants to sort of take it on like a pet project, fix it up, sell it, whatever. And that's where this book begins. The next book that I read for this was Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen, and this one definitely has more of a historical fiction element to it. And this one, our main character, Lucy, is fairly certain that something is not right with her sister Sarah. Now, this one takes place in the Netherlands in 1887, so it's also got a different country vibe to it, which I do touch on a little later in the vlog. But primarily, we're focusing on Lucy, who is going through the motions. Is my sister possessed? Is this something? What is happening? And I don't feel like that's too much of a spoiler, because it does say something about that on the synopsis. Lucy must unravel the mystery surrounding her sister's condition. It is clear her sister is hiding something. Then again, Lucy is harboring secrets of her own. Then the worst happens. Sarah's behavior takes a turn for the strange. She becomes angry and hungry. So it's like, it alludes to it. And so I don't feel like it's that much of a spoiler to say that something is definitely possessing Miss Sarah here. The last book that I actually read for this is, The Possession of Alba Diaz. This one is by Isabel Canas. So this one right here also has a pretty historical vibe to it. This one is set in 1765, and it is set in Mexico, and there's a plague that's happening. And in this one, it's pretty right off the jump that this one is definitely, it's also a possession story. Miss Alba Diaz goes into a mine and she hears an infant, and it's obvious that something at that point changes within her. Something enters her, and we go from there. So I will send you back in time to when I was reading these 3 books. The first 60 pages of this is hilarious. Like, I get that we're about to start the horror, but like, it's just so unserious right now, and I'm loving it. I'm not sure if it's like, it's because it's spooky season, so I'm craving something like this, and that's why I'm having such a good time, but I am genuinely having a really, really good time. I am pretty obsessed with how this is going so far. It's like a little Amityville horror, a little like sort of like found footagey. It's so basically I'm reading her what's happening today as she's reading her mother's book with her mother's margins in the notes in the margins. It's phenomenal. It's like 3 different stories in one. It reminds me very much of like the whole S book that made its rounds a while ago. I did buy that book, but I never read it. But I'm really enjoying this book. I think Cleo is a very interesting character because she's very obviously selfishly motivated, and I'm enjoying it. I find like tiny little bits and pieces of her character that like they make her such a real character to me. It's less like I'm reading a book and more like I am intaking information about a person's real life, because it feels very real to me. This book, it reminds me of a little bit of Amityville horror, maybe the Poltergeist. There was a movie that I saw in theaters. I can't remember what it was, but it had like a whole bunch of, it was messed up. Anyways, it's giving like horror light. It's like the kind of book that you read when you're not sure if you're into horror. It's like just a slight, so far at the 168 page mark, it's slight possession, like a slight, like I'm questioning like the characters are like, am I crazy? Like, what's going on? It is horror light. It's so far, but also at the same time, like I said, I'm only 168 pages in, but I don't know, this is like girly pop horror, and I kind of like it. Like, I think maybe girly pop horror is my vibe. I'm really enjoying this one. I started it yesterday. I got roughly about 60 pages in. I've read 100 pages today. I'm about to go pop a frozen pizza in the oven, so I'll have time to read while I'm cooking that. The book is only like 320-ish pages. Let's see. The book is 322 pages, so I do believe that it's possible that I can finish it today. It's only like roughly 160 pages more to go. It's 224. I say that it is 224. I have 160 something pages to go. I still have to make lunch and make dinner. We're eating a late lunch. We ate a late breakfast. We ate a late dinner last night. Everything's screwed up. We'll regulate tomorrow. But the point is that I'm having a really, really good time with this book. And it feels good because I feel like I've been forcing myself to read books that were like on theme with the vlog lately. And that's not to say that I didn't enjoy those books, but like I picked this up for no reason. And I am having a really good time. We've gotten to the part that could be considered scary. So I am on page 264 and I'm unsure. Basically, how I'm feeling right now is that I don't typically get scared by stuff like this anyway. So this doesn't really bother me. But if anything about this book is going to turn it from girly pop, like horror light, it's gonna be whatever happens in the next 60 pages. Well, I finished it and I have a lot of thoughts. So I feel like this was really like a metaphor for like your personal demons, and while I don't hate that, I feel like it leaned quite a bit into the metaphorical. Don't get me wrong, we definitely played a little bit with the actual physical demon, but it wasn't like, I feel like the biggest demons that she was dealing with were her like mental, emotional demons. You know what I mean? I think this book is a solid 3.5 star. I'm leaning towards maybe a 4. I do need to think about it a little bit. I'm probably going to sleep on it and hope I don't dream about it, because even though it didn't bother me awake, it will probably fuck with me at night. So Here's to hoping that this does not bother me tonight. I will update you in the morning. I also want to mention that the comparison that I made earlier to it feeling a little bit like Amityville and whatever else I said, that held strong all the way until the end. So I am not bothered by that though, because Amityville is something in it, despite the fact that I'm not really scared by books, I do get scared by movies. So to sort of have something visual to compare it to helped me get a little bit more in the spooky atmosphere, kind of, because I'm not somebody who's bothered by reading horror. It's the visuals for me. There was like a couple points where I could feel my heart racing a little bit, and that's a positive thing when I'm reading horror. I felt myself like not panicking, but like I was reading faster to try and get to see what was happening, which is really cool because it's not often that I experience those emotions when reading horror. So overall, I'd say that my experience was a solid 4. I will most likely be picking up additional books by Rachel Harrison because I had a really good time with Play Nice, which I read literally. I got this on Saturday. I finished it on Sunday, and the book hasn't even released yet, so go me. That is, if you it's gothic, you never know. What I mean to say is that you can expect quite a lot of disquieting, dark, and dreadful things from this book by virtue of its genre. I do not wish to spoil the story for you, but I do wish to warn you so that you may prepare yourself accordingly before you wander into its darkness. So obviously, this being in the category of the demon creature, it is a possession story. Well, we just got to the part where the sister Lucy confronts. I don't feel like this is a spoiler alert because it's a demon possession type story, and that's kind of the entire point of this blog. So I don't feel like I'm spoiling when I say that the sister Lucy just talked to the demon, the thing that is the demon, and I'm not sure I'm buying what they're selling. Like, I can't. Okay, so basically, if I had to put this in words, I would describe it like, I'm not sure if it's the historical fiction-y vibes of it. I'm not sure if it's because I literally just read a possession story that was more current, more modern. I'm not sure if that's why I'm not buying what they're selling, but I'm not buying what they're selling. Like, it feels very like, I don't know. I don't picture when you have a possession story, I don't really picture the demon like conversating. Like he, she, they, it, I'm not sure, is literally just like what gave it away. It speaks so plainly. I believe that there would have been a little bit more back and forth. You know? I don't know. I'm just not buying what they're selling. I finished Blood on Her Tongue, and I feel pretty okay about it. This is a 3-star for me. It was possession light, if that makes sense, and that was exactly where I needed to land on the spectrum of demons and things because, well, everything I mentioned in the last clip. This is going to be a 3-star for me. It's definitely like a solid 3 stars. It's not something that I'm wavering on. It wasn't scary. There's like a lot of body horror in this, and well, I guess it's not really that much body horror so much it is just like a lot of gore. There's some body horror, but like it's mostly gore. And so I was expecting, like, based on the lengthy list of like trigger warnings, I was expecting more and I didn't get more, and that's okay. Like I said, it's possession light, so I'm not really sure that I was expecting a 5-star from this book anyway, but it would have been nice if this book did more. I definitely will think about it for a little while. It feels like I'm going to be thinking about Lucy and Sarah for a while. But this was my first Aardvark book that I read from Aardvark. I did also go ahead and start The Possession of Alba Diaz. I am a little over halfway, I'd say. What do you think? Halfway? Well, yeah, I'm a little over halfway. I probably will finish this tomorrow. Between my drives to work and my break, I have it on audio, so I will spend a little time audio reading and a little time physically reading. Fingers crossed anyway, because I really need for this to be done tomorrow. So far, I'm really enjoying this. And one thing that I did find really awesome about at least this set of books that I selected for this is that all three of them take place in different times and different countries. Our protagonist in this one is a 25-year-old, I believe. She is a 20-something-year-old girl who lives in New Jersey-ish, I think. And this is obviously set in America, modern. And then our Blood on Her Tongue is set in 1887 in the Netherlands. Lucy is one of our protagonists in this one. And then finally, Alba Diaz is in Mexico in 1765, in the midst of a plague at that. So very interesting stuff. I think that this, at least for this particular set of three books, I was really impressed with the um, variety of the genre, especially for my options. Now, granted, I did own all three of these prior to deciding to do this blog. I got this one on Aardvark and these two on Book of the Month. So this one I knew was a possession story, and I'm not sure why I got it. But anyways, ignoring that, moving right into hopefully what will be just one more day of reading this, because I am done with Demons and Possessions. I need to move on. I need to move out of that, and I probably need to do some like spiritual cleansing, because I really do believe that that stuff attaches itself, and I should not be doing this. So one more day. I am really close to being done with The Possession of Alba Diaz, and I have a couple thoughts. One of the three demon horror books that I have subjected myself and you to, this one is the only one where they've actually tried to cure the possession or get rid of the possession, get rid of the demon. And I'm not sure if we're gonna win or not. I've got about 35 minutes left of the audiobook, but I'm only gonna be able to listen for about 15, so I've got 15 minutes to look forward to for my break, that I'll probably try and read physically, because I do like to. I have spent so much of my time listening to audiobooks because I'm traveling to and from work, so it just makes sense to continue listening via audiobook. But the thing is that it's so easy that I fall into a trap of not wanting to stop listening to it on audio and just continue and not even read physically, which is also bad, because I really like to read, just because it's like, I don't know, it feels like an audiobook is something that you can turn off and on, and it's easy. And reading, you have to like read. I don't know. I've been so tired lately. I haven't been in the mood to read, and I think that's why I'm like leaning so heavily on audiobooks. I gotta get my life together. Now that I have read all three, let's talk about them. Starting off with the very first book that I read, Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. This was the standout for me. I'm not sure if it's because this one is the only one that doesn't have the historical element, or if it's the only one where the demon wasn't actually in somebody, but rather the home. I appreciated that element quite a bit more, and I guess I connected with these characters more. And to be fair, I did read this one completely physically, where the rest of them were read either partially physically, but mostly audio, or completely audio. But whatever it was, I definitely connected to this story more. So for that reason, I gave this one a 4-star. The next book, Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen. This one was a 3-star for me. I read this one predominantly on audio, like I had mentioned throughout. I think I read maybe a couple pages physically, but ultimately I didn't connect very much with the characters, and I didn't understand the decisions that were being made. I I guess maybe it's easy for me to say that as an outsider who is not being possessed and or not the sister of someone being possessed. So I will say that for sure that could have been part of the disconnect, but I really didn't understand the decisions that people were making. And I understand that this is a different time. So women were often made out to be crazy rather than something was actually wrong with them. So I definitely will take that in stride. And then that same thing goes for The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas. Cañas. This one I liked better than The Blood on Her Tongue, but not by much. I say this one was a 3.5 star, where The Blood on Her Tongue was a 3 star for me. I will say that I enjoyed the sciencey elements, like the mercury and the silver and the mining portion. I think that that was a very interesting take. I think it added something to the story. When I went online to rate that, I saw a lot of people were having a disconnect with this book for a reason that I connected more to this book. I enjoyed the sciencey elements of this book significantly more than, I would say, whoever was rating it lower than I did. Most of the ratings were actually very high for this book. This was I believe it's a 4 star on Goodreads, and I don't know if I went much further for research to see how other people thought about it, but the negative reviews, that, you know how when you go on Goodreads and you scroll and you go to look at the reviews, the ones that were like negative or less than a 4 star were mentioning the fact that the reason that they didn't like it is because it focused a lot on the silver and mercury, whereas I found that to be a very interesting portion of this book. I think that it gave something to this book where the other two were definitely solely demonic possessions. That was the only real conflict happening, aside from the fact that women are crazy, and that goes for both books really. But aside from that, that was the real, like, there was two plot lines going for me. There was like what's going on with the silver and the mercury and what is going on with the demon possession. So I think that I enjoyed this one more for that reason. And I think maybe that's possibly because there was a romance subplot that I also enjoyed. I did read a total of 3 books, got 3 different ratings, but they're all pretty, in a line here. Play Nice was 4 star. The Possession of Alba Diaz was a 3.5, and Blood on Her Tongue was a 3 star. What did I learn from this vlog? Personally, I learned that I have to separate the demon element from my enjoyment, because I'm not really ever one who enjoys possession stories, and I knew that going into this. But what happened was, the truth of this is that I started reading this book not realizing it was a demon possession book, and I had already owned, at this point, I believe, Blood on Her Tongue, and I did some research and discovered that was also a demon horror or possession horror story. And that's kind of where this entire 31 videos in 31 days kicked off, because I had a lot of horror on my shelves that I wanted to read, and I realized that I had some of them kind of fit in this sort of category. Like, I had a possession blog, I have some other creatures and something else happening. So it's like I realized that I could knock off multiple in one blog if they had similarities, and thus the 31 videos in 31 days Bookaween was born. These are the 3 books that I read for this vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, I have fantastic news. We are just getting started with 31 videos in 31 days. I will see you tomorrow.